Yeah, sure. And then if you guys have any questions after that, I'll do that. But I'll just step into it now.
The floor is yours,
You know,
my friend.
I did not have a lot of ability when I first started leading rated battlegrounds in 2011. But my teammates, they wanted me to play at the same level everyone else was playing at. One of the first things they did was to try and correct my damage rotation and my stuns. I was very inexperienced. I didn't know a lot about PvP. I mean, I tried to stun CC and do damage, but I couldn't do it very well. And it was discouraging for me. I almost quit that year. But finally, I had a nice enough teammate to speak with me and teach me, stop clicking all your keybinds. Actually keybind them. And wow, what a difference it made. Now, I know a lot of people in Rated Battlegrounds today, they think that they're the best at this game. That they've won it. But I didn't see them playing versus BlizzCon champions in Rated Battlegrounds. I didn't see them beating those BlizzCon champions in Rated Battlegrounds. Granted, I do think those players are great in the context of this era of Rated Battlegrounds, and I think it's in its twilight, its final stages. But the beginning days, those golden days, they were oh so sweet. And they represented a time full of intense competition and unparalleled rivalries where there wasn't universal queuing across realms. It was stuck on one realm in particular where you'd have to play with everybody there and you join a guild there. And I think that actually helped with competition. Back then, you had to join an arena team with a charter system. I actually think that would be a phenomenal system for Rated Battlegrounds. If a team was limited to 15 players maximum, and those players had to compete with each other and build synergy with each other, and if they left the team, they would lose their rating. That would be so much better than, player X, Y, Z sitting on the bench waiting for their turn at the top ranked team. So I would never put today's competition above the competition of our past. And so I'd like to share one of my favorite quotes. It's from Gandhi in his book Hindi Swaraj, which means home rule. It was a book written to help establish India's independence from Great Britain. The quote is as follows: "It is a mark of wisdom not to kick against the very step from which we have risen higher. The removal of a step from a staircase brings down the whole of it. When out of infancy we grow into youth, we do not despise infancy, but on the contrary, we recall with affection the days of our childhood. If after many years of study, a teacher were to teach me something, and if I were to build a little more on the foundation laid by that teacher, I would not, on that account, be considered wiser than the teacher. He would always command my respect." Unquote. So in 2012, I was trying to lead Rated Battlegrounds at the highest level. I was competing against BlizzCon champions, Collective, Soda, Talbadar, Venruki, and that motivated me to do more than I ever possibly thought I could. I stood at the bottom of the steps looking up at the greats till eventually I stormed up those steps and I destroyed them in competition, but they never lost my respect. I want to close by saying there are a lot of people we meet in these bloody battlegrounds, but what means the most are the friends you meet and take along with you. Everyone that I've met, I've gained something from. Everyone's a role model, be that negative or positive. They've enforced or reinforced me. I've had a lot of teammates over these years. I may have not respected them all, but I always tried my best. I just wanted to win. Battlegrounds and team competition, they do such a powerful job of reaching into the minds and emotions of their participants. I take it personally when my teammates disappoint me, when they're lazy or stupid. I've had deciding moments as a leader when I've asked my teammates also how they've liked my performance, and they said, well, they didn't sometimes. And I actually appreciated that. Most people, they think that they're supposed to be polite to the leader and say that they like them. But I've always felt that it's more important to critique your teammates as well as yourself. So I've always been ferociously honest in my opinions. I don't care what seems fashionable. When I engage in certain strategies, I've had many people think that they were strange choices, outside the meta choices. I did not agree. I know why I wanted that strategy. It was something new. It was original. It was often overlooked in the flood of mainstream strategies, but it had something worthwhile to say. It stood for what I stood for. When I saw a play I really admired in Rated Battlegrounds, I glow. When I see a play I hate, I have an intense pain that builds up in me. I've done this for 8 years. Rated Battlegrounds, they're a unique format in the world of esports, 10 versus 10. People sitting around their computers all across the world playing in these battlegrounds. And one question I'm always asked again and again was, why are Rated Battlegrounds so toxic? And there are days when I agree. I nod my head and I acknowledge this toxicity because it is natural for heated rivals that compete daily to hate each other. But over the years, a certain respect grows between rivals. and it can deepen into friendship and love at time. Finally, I'd like to thank some of the players I've played with across the years to this Hall of Fame career. First, I'd like to start with Mez, who I did the grip knock with. He was the most phenomenal target caller. He taught me how to target call. The guy could call 3 targets at the same time in advance. He would target call A, B, and C in the most calm, cool voice. I never had that calm or cool voice. I've always been very jealous of that, but I think it's far more effective when you're calling it out calm, because people tend to pay attention more when you're not yelling, actually. It's kind of a strange phenomenon. I'd also like to thank Chanimals. I think when I did the World Series of RBGs, he was sitting there with me for 6 hours analyzing VODs. And, you know, I've always had a certain anxiety about queuing and losing. I hate it. I hate losing. So that resulted in being over-prepared for things and just spending hours and hours talking about games and studying the games. So for him to sit there with me and study on that tournament weekend, it meant a lot to me. And, hey, he won a BlizzCon championship too, so that's awesome. And lastly, I'd like to thank my greatest friend, Jordan. This Hall of Fame induction is in great part to him. He was my left-hand man. He was always there with me. He taught me how to play this game with intelligence. He taught me how to be loyal to your friends. I'll never forget the first time I met him. I didn't know him very well. We hadn't spoken much. But I had invited him to my group, and a warrior friend of his named Thorior, rank 1 warrior. I wasn't a big fan of Thorior's FCing, and I kicked him from the group. And then Jordan left. And I PM Jordan. I say, hey, why'd you leave? I didn't kick you. You didn't have to do that. He said, because he's my friend. You kicked my friend. So Jordan was always loyal to his friends, has always been loyal to me, and I to him, and I'll be always grateful for that. I'll be always grateful for the chance I had to play with him. I think he'll be in Classic Vanilla. I hope you guys will be too, everybody else. I've enjoyed the chance to yell at him over the years, tell him what to do, have him yell at me back. We got rank 1 together, Prideful Season. We dominated Rated Battlegrounds together. We won the World Series of Rated Battlegrounds together. Finally, to all you fans there out in Twitch and the World of Warcraft, for your words of support, your kindness, for all your competition across the years. It's been a great journey. And being the #1 leader, it's always been what's most important to me. No matter what else everyone else was, who else they were following, what else they were following, leading has always been what I wanted to do. Thank you.
I want to clap. That was incredible. Wow.
Yeah. I'd like to say thank you, man. I actually wasn't expecting you to take anywhere near that